The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Step over to the office and get the bullwhip.
A whipping? That's all they get after what they've done? Get out of there!
It was a matter of honor.
They're paying $1,000 to whatever kills the two boys that cut up Delilah.
In a time when lawmen were killers.
What are y'all looking at?
You English, Bob?
Outlaws were heroes.
Well, I thought that you were dead.
Hell, I even thought I was dead. Till I found out I was just in Nebraska.
And a bad reputation.
You're the one who killed William Harvey and robbed that train over Missouri?
Was as good as gold.
My guess is you're calling yourself Mr. William Money.
Say what?
You don't look no meaner than hell, cold-blooded damn killer.
I ain't like that anymore, kid.
$1,000 reward, Will.
Nobody's gonna come.
So you still have that Spencer rifle, huh?
Yeah.
He's my partner. He don't go, I don't go.
What's it come to 3 ways?
Just because we're going on this killing, that don't mean I'm gonna go back to being the way I was.
Are you really gonna kill them cowboys?
I do not like assassins or men of low character.
We ain't bad men no more. We're farmers.
You're a lot of savages! A bunch of bloody savages! Assassin!
Oh, I guess they have it coming.
We all have it coming, kid.
Some legends will never be forgotten. Some wrongs can never be forgiven.
Any man don't want to get killed. Better clear on out the back.
Unforgiven.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle, today we've been talking about episode 145, Unforgiven. And Kyle, this is ranked number 68 of all time according to AFI's Top 100. So I wrote down some movies that it beat and some that are just right above it. So this, like I said, this is number 68. The ones that, a couple that are right ahead of us, 66 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. And 67 is Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Here are some of the movies that it beat, which some of them are very interesting choices. So like I said, this was 68. 71 was Saving Private Ryan. 72 was Shawshank Redemption.
Wow.
74 was Silence of the Lambs. 76 was Forrest Gump. And 87, 12 Angry Men, which I think is one of the top 5 movies of all time, but
Yeah.
That just goes to show you where they have this ranked as far as all time. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So Kyle, before we get started, let me throw a question your way.
Okay.
Kyle, what's your favorite Clint Eastwood film?
Favorite Clint Eastwood film? Oh, gosh. Probably Dirty Harry. The first film. Yeah. I feel like the film probably aged poorly for a lot of audiences, but I still appreciate the film a great deal, and I think it's amazing to watch every single time. So
did you ever see Bridges Over Madison County?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, probably close follow-up would be like Gran Torino or something like that, though. I don't know how many other Clint Eastwood films I actually watched. I did watch all the Dirty Harry films, though. Jimbo, what's your favorite Clint Eastwood film?
Well, he's known for a lot of westerns. We did cover Dirty Harry, which is pretty good. And it was it The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I think?
Yeah, that was his premiere western for sure.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So Kyle, this is going to be a longer episode because when you talk about one of the top 100 movies, there's just so much more information. Unlike last week with Jailhouse Rock, there's just not a lot of information out there. But when you get, and it's an older movie, but when you get something like this that was, 1992, I believe?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot more documentation about it.
I was a freshman in high school, or 8th grade or freshman when this came out. So there's a lot more facts and information because, the internet and all that started to come around. And can be preserved more and more information instead of just, hey, we lost all this information in a fire.
Yeah.
So,
well, plus Jailhouse Rock, you just, everything you talk about the film, you just kind of talk about Elvis Presley for an hour instead of talking about the film itself. We're going to dive deeper on it, too. So, everyone kind of knows Elvis Presley. Maybe someday we'll do a podcast where we just talk about Elvis Presley altogether as, a huge person, do one of those character-focused episodes. But, Unforgiven is just, it's an all-encompassing film, and, Clint Eastwood is just a side part of this entire film and not about the entire legacy going on for it.
And I will say this about Unforgiven is you have a main story, okay? Mm-hmm. But there's so many side stories they could have went with this that you forgot about the main story. It's a very interesting movie.
You can definitely get lost asking a whole lot of questions about characters just because there's so many characters that have a fully fledged background to them.
And you're thinking, this guy's going to come back as the English guy, Bill or whatever his name.
English Bob.
Bob. Yeah. You
Bob.
think, this guy's going to come back. You never see him again after he leaves town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very, very well intricate and detailed, and you can tell by the script writing this is very well done. So, Kyle, take it away.
All right. I'm taking it away now, Jimbo. We have Unforgiven, released on August 7th of 1992. Directed by Clint Eastwood. Written by David Webb Peoples. Produced by Clint Eastwood. Composed by Lenny Niehaus. Cinematography by Jack N. Green. Edited by Joel Cox. Casting director was Phillips Huffman, and production designer was Henry Bernstead. Plot summary of this quick film was, after escaping death by the skin of their teeth, the disfigured prostitute character Delilah Fitzgerald and her appalled and equally furious co-workers summoned up the courage to seek retribution in an 1880s Wyoming's dangerous town of Big Whiskey. With the hefty bounty put on the perpetrator's head, triggered by the tough sheriff's, Little Bill Daggert's insufficient sense of justice, the infamous former outlaw and now destitute hog farmer, there we go, William
This is a Hogwarts, okay.
Destitute Kansas hog farmer William Money embarks on a murderous last mission to find the men behind the hideous crime. Along with his old partner in crime, Ned Logan, and a brash but inexperienced young Goodman, the Schofield Kid, Money enters into a perilous world he had once renounced many years ago. Knowing that he walks right into a deadly trap, however, he still needs to find a way to raise his motherless children. Now blood demands blood. Who is the hero and who is the villain? Going into some of the other facts of the film's budget was $14.4 million in 1992. Adjusted for inflation, that'd be about $31.1 million today. An incredibly cheap movie considering how amazing it looks. This film looks amazing on camera and everything about it just looks fantastic. So incredibly modest budget for what is a beautiful film. Opening weekend, it made $15 million. Just for inflation, that'd be about $32.5. So it made its initial budget back. I'm sure if marketing probably came out about $30 million. So they still need Sony to make. But then luckily, gross for the U.S. Canada was $101 million. So more than made his money back by that point. Adjusting for inflation, that'd be about $218.7 million. And then worldwide, again, it made a huge amount of money for considering its budget at $159 million. Just for inflation, that'd be about $344.2 million. So a huge success on that front. And then when we get into the awards, we'll get to the critical reception as well. In fact, we'll get into the awards right now.
And awards that did win.
Yes, and awards that did then. There's whole shows that it basically just sweep the entire awards for. So in 2014, in the Online Film and Television Association Awards, it was inducted into the Film Hall of Fame for a motion picture. So that's an incredible honor right there. In 2013, for the 2020 awards, it was nominated for Best Art Direction, Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Sound Design, and Best Supporting Actor. And it won the Best Picture Award. In 2004, along with the last movie we actually just covered last week, it was added to the National Film Registry by the National Film Preservation Board in 2004.
So they both went in on the same
exact
time?
same year.
That is
Unforgiven
cool.
and
We didn't even
Jailhouse
plan
Rock
that, did we?
were included in the National Film Preservation Board. That is an incredible coincidence that I didn't catch till just now reading it. That's really cool. Next up, we have the Cinema Jumpao Awards, where it won the Best Foreign Language Film for Clint Eastwood. This is for the I believe the Japanese Film Awards. Yeah, and then we have the Manchi Film Concours, where it also won Best Foreign Language Film for Clint Eastwood. Next up, for the SECAN Awards, it won Best Foreign Film. Next up, we have the Academy Awards, where it was nominated for Best Sound, Best Actor in Leading Role, Clint Eastwood, Best Cinematographer, Jack N. Green, Best Art Direction, On-Set Direction to Janice Black-Gooding and Harry Bumstead, and Best Writing awarded to David Webb Peoples. And then the awards it won was Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor in a Supporting Role to Gene Hackman, Best Picture awarded to Clint Eastwood, and Best Director also awarded to Clint Eastwood. Then in 1993, we have the America Cinema Editors Award, where it won the Best Edited Feature Film, awarded to Joel Cox. Then for the BAFTA Awards, it was nominated for Best Sound, Best Cinematography, Best Screenplay, Best Direction, and Best Film. And it took home the Best Actor Award, Best Actor in a Supporting Role to Gene Hackman. Next up, we have the BMI Film and TV Awards, where it won the Film Music Award. Next up, we have the Dallas-Fort Worth Film Critics Association Awards, where it entirely swept the award show with Best Picture, Best Cinematographer, Best Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor. It won all of those awards. Incredible achievement there. Next up, for the 1983 Directors Guild of America Award, where it won the Outstanding Directorial Achievement in a Motion Picture. Then for the Empire Awards in 1993, it won the Best Film Award, awarded to Clint Eastwood for his Mariposa Productions. Next up, we have the Fotogramas de Plata Awards, where it won the Best Foreign Film. Then for the Golden Globes, it was nominated for Best Picture and Best Screenplay, and it won the awards for Best Director and Best Performances by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a Motion Picture. Next up, we have the Ho Chi Film Awards, where it won Best Foreign Language Film. Then for the London Critics Circles Film Awards, it won the Film of the Year Award in 1993. And then in 1993, for the National Society of Film Critic Awards, it won Best Screenplay, Best Director, Best Film, and Best Supporting Actor. Then for the Nikan Sports Film Awards, it won Best Foreign Film. And then for the St. Geordie Awards, it won Best Foreign Film as well. Then for the Western Heritage Awards, it won the award for the Bronze Wrangler for a Theatrical Motion Picture Award. Then for the Western Writers of America, it won the Spur Award for Best Movie Script. Next up, we have the 1992 Awards Circuit Community Awards, where it won the Best Cinematography and Best Director, and also Best Film Editing. Then for the Boston Society of Film Critics, it won the Best Picture, Best Cinematography, and Best Supporting Actor. And then for the Cahiers du Cinema Award, it won the Best Film Award for the top 10 films of that year. Next up, we have the 1992 Kansas City Film Critics Circle Awards, where it won Best Film, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor. Oh, also for its Best Film Award, it actually tied with the film The Player, also released in 1992. Haven't watched that film personally. Next up, we have the 1992 Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards, where it almost swept the entire awards, except for one little second place thing we'll get to in a second, where it won Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Screenplay, and Best Actor, and Best Picture. And then finally it came in second place for Best Cinematography. In 1992, it also was added to the Top 10 Films of the Year award, provided to the National Board of Review in the USA. And then for the 1992 New York Film Critics Circle Awards, it won the award for Best Supporting Actor to Gene Hackman. Some of the technical details of the film here. This film has a runtime of 130 minutes, or 2 hours and 10 minutes by production there. Sound mix of the film. This is actually a Dolby Surround Sound Westrex recording system audio. This is a color film. Aspect ratio is 2.39 by 1. The camera used were the Panavision cameras and lenses. And for the total film length, we have 3,487 meters of film. Some of the aspects of the filming location may be interesting to you. This film was not actually filmed in Wyoming, where it takes place. Instead, it was filmed in Brooks, Alberta, Canada, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Drumheller in Alberta, Canada, and High River in Alberta, Canada, and also Longview in Alberta, Canada. And some other shots were filmed in the Red Hills Ranch in Sonora, California, specifically during the train sequence with English Bob. Next up, there's only one song in this film, and it's Claudia's song, which is both the, I believe, the beginning and the ending of the movie, and uncredited, but it was written by Clint Eastwood and Lena Niehaus. So that's the...
well, it's not the only song, it's just the score.
For the soundtrack of the film, it's the score, the original song for the music anyways. Finally, moving on to the cast of the film. We have the legendary, iconic Clint Eastwood playing the character of William Money. Clint Eastwood, of course, many other films such as $1 Million Baby in 2004, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966, and Dirty Harry in 1971, and many more films on top of that. Gran Torino, lots of films. Dude, just never stop making films. It's great. Next up, we have Gene Hackman playing the character of Little Bill Taggart. Gene Hackman, of course, also a legendary actor of his own right, in such films as Hoosiers in 1986. The French Connection, 1971, and Enemy of the State in 1998. Then we have Morgan Freeman playing the character of Ned Logan. Morgan Freeman, of course, many films as well, such as Invictus in 2009, The Shawshank Redemption in 1994, Bruce Almighty in 2003, classic comedy right there. And then we have Richard Harris playing the character of English Bob. Richard Harris, an amazing actor in his own right as well, such as and in such films such as Gladiator in the original 2000 film, and he was also in the first two Harry Potter films, in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There we go. That's the sequel's name. To remind myself that. Next up, we have James Woolvett playing the Schofield Kid. James Woolvett was also in the show White Fang from 1993 to 1984, and the film Going Black in 2001. Next up, we have Saul Rubinek playing the character of W.W. Beauchamp, the writer of the film. Not the writer of the film, the writer in the film, who's recording English Bob's escapades. Saul Rubinek was also in such films such as The Ballad of Buster Scruggs in 2018, and his very next film after this was True Romance in 1993, the film we covered just, 2 or 3 weeks ago now? No. So, an incredible little small world moment there. Next up, we have Frances Fisher playing the character of Strawberry Alice. Frances Fisher was also in the film Titanic, which we also just covered a few weeks ago in 1997. And then she was also in the film Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage.
Who was she in Titanic? Do you remember?
She was the mother of Kate
Winslet.
Of Kate Winslet's mother. Yeah, I forgot the name of the character, but that's what she played. Next up, we have Anna Thompson playing the character of Delilah Fitzgerald, the prostitute who gets scarred up by the perpetrators of the film at the very beginning. Anna Thompson's also, her very next film after this was True Romance in 1993. And she was also in the films Sue in 1997 and Fiona in 1998. Next up, we have also the actor David Mucci playing the character of Quick Mike. David Mucci was also in the films Half Baked in 1998 and Lethal Tender in 1996. Next up, we have Rob Campbell playing the character of David Bunting. Rob Campbell was also in the films The Crucible in 1996, Dark Matter in 2007, and The Crossing in 2018. Next up, we have Anthony James playing the character of Skinny Du Bois. Anthony James was also in the film The Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear in 1991. Love that title, still to this day. And he was also in The Heat of the Night in 1967, a film we've also covered on this very podcast as well. Next up, we have the actor Tara Patrick playing the character of Little Sue. Tara Patrick was also in the films Watchmen in 2009, and Future Sport in 1998. Next up, we have Beverly Elliott playing the character of Silky. Beverly Elliott was also in the films The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants in 2005 and Walking Tall with Dwayne Johnson in 2004. Then lastly, we have Lisa Repo Martel playing the character of Faith. Lisa was also in the films Lars and the Real Girl in 2007 and Scared Silent in 2002. And that summarizes the cast of Unforgiven. Jimbo, let's move on to the trivia.
Well, first things first.
Okay.
Do you know if this was based on a true story or not?
Yes, it's based on me. I did this. I'm William Money. I have no idea, Jimbo. It's based on a true story.
Well, I just didn't know because those. This film starts off with a text at the beginning and a text at the end. So I'm going to read what the text says at the beginning, and then when we go to leave, I'll read the one that's at the end. So
Okay.
It says, "She was a comely young woman and not without prospects. Therefore, it was heartbreaking to her mother that she would enter into marriage with William Mooney, a known thief and murderer, a man of notoriously vicious and intemperate disposition." So I thought that was interesting. So here we go. Let's talk about the trivia. There's a lot more to this than our last movie. So.
1 second here. The film is not based on a true story. The film was written by David Webb Peoples, who had written an Oscar-nominated film The Day After Trinity and co-written Blade Runner with Henry Fafton. So this is a completely original film, an original story.
All right. So this script had floated around Hollywood for 20 years or so. Gene Hackman had read it, and he also rejected it, only to be later convinced by Clint Eastwood, who had owned the rights for some time to play the role. This is the third Western to win the Best Picture Oscar. Kyle, do you know what the other two are?
I might have some guesses, but I don't know what they are.
Let's take some guesses.
I'm going to say How the West Was Won could be one of this film.
No.
Ooh, wasn't Blazing Saddles.
No.
Was it The Good, Bad, and the Ugly?
No.
Once Upon a Time in the West?
No.
What? Okay, what are those films, Jimbo? I don't know.
Dances with Wolves and Cimarron, which Cimaron, which I believe is like 1932 or 1931. So
it's weird that I don't think of Dancing with Wolves as necessarily a Western film. Maybe that's just me. Okay, that could be anyone else.
Sure. The final screen credit reads, "Dedicated to Sergio and Don," referring to Clint Eastwood's mentor, Sergio Leone and Don Siegel, which I thought was pretty cool. Although the score was arranged by Lenny Niehaus, the main theme was written by none other than Clint Eastwood himself. So not only is he an actor, he's also a musical
prodigy.
Right. I was like,
an amazing writer, an amazing director. Yeah. How many W's can one man have? Clint Eastwood is the answer.
Which, he's still alive, right?
Yeah, he's still alive.
And so is Gene Hackman?
Yeah, Gene Hackman.
And they're both 90-something years old?
I think Gene Hackman is fully retired, but I think Clint Eastwood still does work, technically.
Well, I'm just saying, they were both born in 1930, I do believe, and they're both still with us.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, Gene Hackman, who is 93 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Richard Harris was watching High Plains Drifter on television when Clint Eastwood called and offered him a part as English Bob. This is so mean. Clint Eastwood's mother, Ruth Wood, toiled through an uncomfortable day wearing a heavy dress as an extra, filming a scene where she boards a train. However, the scene was eventually cut with her son apologizing that the movie was just too long and something had to go. However, all was forgiven when he brought her to the Academy Awards and thanked her prominently in his acceptance speech. So, we might have to throw that here at the end of the episode if I can find it.
Maybe there's a YouTube short of it we can put up there. Yeah.
This was shot in just 39 days, coming in 4 days ahead of schedule. Wow. The town had to be built very quickly with a relatively short run-up time, 2 months, to the start of filming. The stunt coordinator used the construction period to work on actors' writing skills and stunt choreography.
Yeah, stunt choreography. Yeah, I know Clint Eastwood is famous for being like a kind of a one-shot director. Like he always just takes the first shot and immediately moves on to the next thing. I remember, I can't remember the movie where Matt Damon plays like a soccer coach in Africa. But he said like he has a story basically where he goes, if I can find it on YouTube, maybe I'll share it on the Facebook group afterwards. But he goes, it's just like Clint Eastwood filmed the shot, and then Matt, finished the shot, and Matt Damon would do whatever best he could for that first shot, and then Clint Eastwood would be like, all right, good, move on to the next one. And then Matt Damon would stop him like, I think I could probably do it better. You don't want to get one more take? And he's like, I could maybe spend all day here, get one better take. Or I can move on to the next best thing and get a good shot there. And it was just a moment. It was like you're not going to mess with Clint Eastwood. He knows exactly what he wants to do, which is great.
Frances Fisher said that David Webb Peoples' original script was one of the most perfect she had ever written, as it almost read like a novel. She illustrated this with the fact that while most scripts are full of later revisions marked by red ink all over the pages and in the margins, this one hardly had anything. One of the few changes that Clint Eastwood made to People's script was to remove the opening voiceover and replace it with the text, which I read earlier.
I think that kind of goes into like your later kind of like a when you ask a question, if it's based on a true story or if it's based on a
that's
book.
why
it's so well developed from the get go. Like every single character in that film feels like a real person.
Right. And well, then he, during the film, William Money talks about all these people he'd killed before and all this, and you're like,
This has a whole history
because
to it.
Because he says the famous line, he's like, I've killed women and children. I've killed everything that walks or crawls at one time or another. And I'm here to kill you, little Bill, for what you've done to Ned.
Yeah.
Which...
Like, you could believe that every named character in this film had a whole biography built up for him before you even saw the film. Like, it really is like, you could... as much as people hate remakes or like a reinterpretation nowadays, it's one thing in the world where it's like I could almost see The Unforgiven being like a TV show in many respects because like every single character is so well developed immediately that I'm like, oh, I know exactly where those characters would go in like a whole series of shows. If you want to do something like that ever in the future, I think it would be kind of incredible to watch.
This was shot in Calgary, Canada. Shout out to Bret Hart, which was experiencing.
Anytime anyone brings up Canada, shout out to Bret Hart.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada is where he's from. It was a unusually dry weather. Most of the rain was created on site. The snow that falls when William Money is recovering from his beating was unexpected and unscripted. To maintain the authentic atmosphere, no motor vehicles were allowed on the Big Whiskey set. That's also like if you ever go up to Mackinac Island, there's no vehicles up there. I think maybe one ambulance and one police car, but other than that, it's all horses or walking or bicycles.
Walking. Cool.
Production designer Henry Bumstead took only 32 days to have the Big Whiskey set constructed, the fastest in his lengthy career. It took Clint Eastwood several years to actually get around to reading the scripts because the scriptwriter had initially told him that it wasn't very good.
Oh my God. Wrong.
Fired. Clint Eastwood asked Gene Hackman to model Little Bill Daggett on then Los Angeles Police Chief Daryl Gates. So, Kyle, look up Daryl Gates, Police Chief, and let's see if Little Bill is actually modeled after him as I go on.
That's really damning if it is.
Clint Eastwood said at the time that this would be the last movie that he would both act in and direct. He has since been actor and director in several other films.
I wouldn't necessarily. I can see an immediate resemblance just because he's just like generic police chief looking dude.
No. He said to model it after him, not to look
like
like
I'm modeling after his character himself. Like things he
and not
did.
what he looks like.
What is the controversies that Daryl Gates participated in? Could be damning. This could be too real for the podcast. I'll see how it goes, but I'll see what I can find.
All right, moving on. The boots Clint Eastwood wore are the same ones he wore in Rawhide, the movie. These boots are now part of Eastwood's private collection. In 2005, they were loaned out to the Sergio Leone exhibit at the Gene Autry Museum of Western Heritage in Los Angeles, California. The boots basically bookended Eastwood's career in westerns.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go, Kyle.
Yeah. So Daryl Gates was the police chief in charge of the events during the excessive force being used on Rodney King.
That's what I was thinking.
That's why. So specifically, his avoidance of any punishment for the police officers in that case, in those kind of situations, and failure to like bring adequate justice to those scenarios is how they kind of use their adaptation of him for the film.
Well, then I guess you can see where Little Bill starts putting the boot to Eastwood.
Actually, specifically, Gene Hackman wrote that he referred to Daggett overseeing Ned Logan's torture scene as my Rodney King scene, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, if he's going to model it after it,
Yeah. I don't think it was, it was not lost upon them at all that they got Morgan Freeman, a black man, being tortured in that scene, and he was the one person who actually does suffer in the way that everyone else does in the character in the film. So that's interesting to see, and it's very damning. It sounds like Daryl Gates was a bad person.
All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way,
like I said, could be too real for the podcast.
At around 37 minutes, Deputy Clyde's line about why a one-armed man needed to carry 3 pistols, I don't want to get killed from lack of being able to shoot back, is sometimes attributed to James Butler Wild Bill Hickok. He usually carried 2 pistols around his waist, another in a shoulder holster, sometimes another stuck in the back of his belt, and usually had at least one Derringer hidden somewhere. While working as a lawman, he usually carried a sawed-off shotgun as well. Hickok also laughed at Ned Buntlein's report about his killing 20 men with 20 shots, saying that his theory was start shooting and keep shooting until the man you were shooting at was dead.
That's a good
Wild Bill, baby. Wild Bill.
Yeah. And definitely, like, in a certain area, reloading gun is a huge pain in the butt, especially if you're a one-armed man.
Did it say how he lost his arm?
Nope, never mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is great.
Right. According to Clint Eastwood in a 2000 interview, Gene Hackman was very concerned about how they were going to show the violence in this movie, concerned about rising gun violence in American cities. Boy, fast forward 20 years, 30 years there, Gene. Not much has changed. Eastwood assured Hackman that this movie wouldn't glorify gun violence, and I don't really think it did.
No, I think it's very...
I think it drew a fine line, like, it was just enough of a Western and not a lot about gun violence.
I think this movie goes very much out of its way to make gun violence look sick and awful. Like, in a specific case of, like, well, specifically when they kill the perpetrators, like the first one they shoot in the gut and they just watch them suffer for, like, presumably about probably an hour, maybe more, where he's just bleeding out from his gut.
But, you know, he's like, get the guy some water. We're not going to shoot.
Water.
You know?
Yeah. So it makes it, you know, it takes away all the heroism of cowboys.
Here's something else. This is something that I wondered if Eastwood's character ever thought about this. Like when after he gets beat up and they're in that little shack, and the lady that got cut up, the cut up whore, whatever. Mm-hmm. When Eastwood was first told about it by the Schofield kid, he told him that, oh yeah, they cut up her face, they cut her eyeballs out, they even cut off her teats, remember? And they cut off her fingers. And when he sees her, you know, she still has her eyes, she still has everything else on her, except she's cut up on the face. Yeah. And I think is one of my favorite parts of this movie is when he's talking to her, he says, you know, I guess my face looks like yours now, or whatever. And then when he kind of sobers up, he's like, look, I didn't mean that. What I'm saying is, I guess basically we both have scars. And I thought that was very, very interesting part of this movie. And I like how he said, she's like, well, you know, do you want a freebie because she's a whore? Mm. And he's like, no, he's like, I can't because of my wife. She's like, well, I respect that. A lot of men doesn't respect that. He's talking to like she's still alive. And the lady thinks that he's still married, only to come to find out when she gets back and talking to him, like, look, he ain't got no wife that's above ground at least. Yeah. And I think that made her liked him all the more. Yeah. That was very touching.
I was a little surprised though because like I don't think. Gosh, I don't even know if Frances Fisher character Alice interacts with him at all in the entire film.
No, but he's probably known throughout the town. Do you know what I mean?
Or knows who William Money is for real. I don't know if but even then, like he's not local to that town, so they wouldn't have any reason to know who he actually is. So that's confused me.
Well, but if you remember, Ned and
Ned
Schofield killed, they both went upstairs.
Yeah, so if Ned told Alice who he is,
covering from the floors up and downstairs.
Yeah, so maybe Alice does know who he is and had his wife died, but even then, it's like that information is kind of weird for her to know. So I guess it could be some off-screen stuff that you could infer happened, but still, it's a fine scene. But yeah, this whole film, like I said, goes out of its way to make violence look ugly in a way. Even the second picture, like he kills him while he's on the John. There's nothing glorious about that. Right. He doesn't have access to his weapon. He just kills him dead that way. And even the final scenes where all the violence is going on, like so many old westerns, like you fire a revolver, it sounds like a cannon going off, and then it launches 3 men through a window with glass shattering everywhere. It looks amazing and heroic, like you're a god basically. And this film very much goes out of the way. Like every single bloody death is just like it's bloody, it's miserable. People don't die immediately; they just suffer and bleed out. Like there's nothing glorious about the violence in this film at all that I really appreciate. So keep going forward.
This was
must be 2 hours.
ranked number 4 on the Films Institute list of the 10 greatest films in the genre Western. Yeah, we'll have to look that up, see what the other ones are. That was in 2008, Kyle, on AFI's Top 10 Westerns. The windmill that appears in the backdrop through much of the movie was a real operating windmill rather than a set piece, and to this day pumps water to the Dow Wetlands Preserve in Antioch, California, where it was sent after shooting. How cool is that? This movie laid to rest Clint Eastwood's long-standing statement why he would never win an Oscar. Are you ready for this, Kyle?
Why?
Eastwood reckoned he would never win in the running because, first, I'm not Jewish. Secondly, I make too much money. Thirdly, and most importantly, because I don't give a F. Yeah. Since his double Oscar win for this movie, Eastwood has gone on to win 2 more Oscars, as well as an Irving Thalberg Memorial Award, and has been nominated an additional 6 times.
Yeah.
So,
they called his bluff there, didn't they? Okay, which was the award institution for the top 10 films?
AFI Institute's list of the 10 greatest Western films in the genre of Westerns in June 2008.
Okay, so this list may have been updated, but this is the AFI list right here. The first film is The Searchers. Next film is High Noon. I've not seen that one.
I've seen that.
I've seen Shane. That's number 3. Number 4 is Unforgiven. I don't know where it's there on the list. Number 4. Number 5 is Red River. I believe it's called. Oh, The Wild Bunch, number 6. I've seen that one. The Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, we both saw that one. We did another variant podcast here, is number 7. And next up on number 8 is McCabe and Mrs. Miller. I've never heard of that film, actually. Then number 9, we have Stagecoach. I believe we covered that film as well. And then number 10, we have Cat Ballou. I've never heard of that film, Cat Ballou.
Can I tell you one that's not on there that I think should be on there?
Which one do you think should be on there?
Tombstone.
Oh.
It's a great movie.
I love it, but I don't know how well that stacks up specifically as a Western. In my mind. That's weird. I don't know why I want to be against that, but for some reason I feel like, no, it's not. But it's a great film. I do like it a lot.
Why wouldn't it be a Western? What's it going to be, Kyle?
Something about it just feels more like an action film in my mind. It'd be like saying like The Quick and the Dead should be in the top 10 films of all time for Westerns. It's like, nah, probably not. It's a great film. I like it a lot, but I don't know if it's top 10 Western. Yeah.
I think
something about exuding the qualities of a Western. It's like Tombstone, I feel like goes a little too more in the modern films of its era to not be as Westerny as the other films. And that's just me making artificial walls for it. I know.
You don't really know.
This is BS in its highest degree on my caliber, but that is just something I got to stick with.
It's including among the 1001 movies you must see before you die.
I agreed. That's a good point.
Morgan Freeman actually learned about this movie from none other than Kevin Costner while filming Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Freeman approached Clint Eastwood and got the role of Ned Logan.
Excellent.
For the role of English Bob, Jeremy Irons was considered.
Jeremy Irons. That would have been an interesting casting choice, but I guess Richard Harris is also an interesting casting
The concept for this movie dated back to 1976 when it was developed under the titles The Cut Whore Killings and William Money Killings. Oh, but going back to my thing, when Eastwood, found out for the money that they'd done all this stuff, and then you think when he found out about that it maybe, I don't want to say changed his mind, but do you think maybe he had a different take on it because maybe the people that he shot and killed weren't?
How do you mean? I'm not sure.
Because they were doing it for the reward.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And the Schofield kids said that they had cut out her eyes and all this other stuff to her.
Yeah.
But when he seen that it wasn't as bad as what they had made out.
I think he got a good idea of who the Schofield kid really was as soon as he saw him the first time. So he knew that he was exaggerating probably everything he said, probably.
Yeah, he said he could kill 5 men.
Yeah, even when he relates it to Ned Logan and said, like, oh, he cut her up this way, cut her up that way, even he's exaggerating a little bit. So I think it's just, like, part of their language at the time, and they all kind of understand, like, it's probably not that bad, but it is bad. And so I don't think it ever became, like, more selfish of him in his mind that they were getting basically revenge money for that case thing too, because he knew he needed the money specifically to help his motherless children.
Yeah,
and so I don't think his motivation changed. If anything, it maybe actually got deepened when he realized that the Delilah was a sweet girl, was a good person outside of just being injured. If she was even like a kind of a scummy person, that injury alone is worth putting significant repercussions onto the perpetrators. And then finding out, she was a good person and they injured her, that's just twice as bad in his mind. Even that probably even brought his idea of like, these people actually do deserve what's coming to them more.
Can I say I just love when he blows away the bartender owner of that place?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, everybody step away.
Is maybe they are going to glorify the violence a little bit. Where it's like, you need to step away because I'm about to paint him on the walls.
and I think he probably did that because he's the one that had Ned outside showcasing.
He was more mad at the bartender for displaying his body than he was at
everything else.
For Little Bill for killing him. Right. Truly, he really was. He was that's what pissed him off. The fact they didn't even honor him after he died was the real thing.
Because he says, make sure he gets a proper
burial. All those things. Like that's clearly what set him off more. The fact that they made his
those guys at the end. He's like, no, you shoot him.
No.
In the early 1980s, Francis Ford Coppola got the script and met with John Malkovich to offer him the role of William Money. Malkovich recalled, "This offer was not very serious, thank God. I say that for myself and the poor public. And for Clint, absolutely. I would have been a total failure. Total.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have wanted to see that? I wouldn't. I would have just been acting schmacting." There are some things you can only have with a kind of mythic figure, which Clint is. Malkovich worked with Clint Eastwood later on in the Line of Fire and Changeling.
John Malkovich hit the opinion dead on the mind. Like, I don't even have anything to add to it necessarily. He is dead on. You're right. Clint Eastwood is that mythical figure. He was the only actor who could have sold that role, specifically going kind of against Western stereotypes in that kind of case. Yeah.
The earlier scene when Money practice fires guns is reminiscent of Josie Wells firing guns before the credits of The Outlaw of Josie Wells. The railroad used to film the train sequence was also used for Pell Rider. Wilde's difficulty in mounting the horse was achieved by his holding the left rein close in, which makes the horse turn left. So when he kept trying to get on the horse, you could tell with his left hand it was yanking the horse.
Yeah, I think it's another thing too about like how this kind of goes against Western stereotypes here specifically is that he plays against kind of like the hyper competence trope, I guess, like you see in like cowboys and Western films or outlaws, is that they're incredibly good at what they do. Like he falls off his horse several times in this film when he goes to do the initial like going to shoot cans on the stump and like missing every single shot he's got. It's
and then he goes in and gets the shotgun and just blows it away.
He just blows it away, and he's incredibly out of practice too. And having that one where like Nick, he's not ready for this at all. And same thing with Ned Logan too. Like he's probably like he doesn't have the same aim he had to back in his day, even though he claims otherwise. And Schofield Kid, he can't see past. He can't see past his hand, really. Yeah.
He's terrible.
The only person he hits is the person he's literally point blank from. And even then, he has to shoot him 5 times.
Three
times. Something like that. So, of all these characters are completely over the top of what they claim to be. Maybe the closest one to it was English Bob, and he was also revealed to be a fraud.
Right.
So that kind of thing, too. You keep going forward. Sorry.
The scenes with Little Bill kicking English Bob around on the floor were in fact real. Richard Harris wore padding under his clothes, as well as did Clint Eastwood for the fights, as faking someone being kicked around would be impossible. So they're actually getting kicked. They just have padding under them.
That's really impressive, actually, when you consider it. Like, yeah, I guess.
All right, Kyle, lay on the floor. I'm going to kick you a couple times.
Exactly. That'd be very difficult. Yeah, to do. Like, especially like, okay, we can do that. Like, if you don't have padding, like, we can do this shot once, and then we have to give him, like, 5 days to recover. Especially like Richard Harris, who was an old man at the time.
Even if you have padding, it's still going to hurt, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you need, like, a week afterwards to kind of, like, even, like, recover from that, where you can fake acting well. And, like, I don't know how old Richard Harris was, but he was no spring chicken in that film. You kick a man like that without padding, you could liably kill him.
And last but not least, the Schofield Kid has named himself after a Schofield model gun and brags about having killed 5 men with it, which turns out to be a lie. However, his pistol does indeed kill 5 men after all. The kid kills the cowboy himself in the outhouse, and William Money shoots 4 deputies with it. Money also kills Little Bill and Skinny, but with a rifle, not the Schofield pistol. So,
cool.
I thought that was pretty cool how it came around full circle to actually the gun did kill 5 people.
Man, I wonder if that's in the script or if that's somehow a happy accident in many respects. I wonder.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's intentional or not.
And then I'll read the closing text that came on the screen. Like it opened with the epilogue text that follows reads the Money's mother-in-law, whose name is revealed to be Mrs. Arsenal Feathers, came to visit her daughter's grave, but found that Money and the children had long disappeared, rumored to have moved to San Francisco and prospered in dry goods. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty cool that he disappeared.
And then lived something of a calmer life out of that and, prospered a little bit. Maybe he never was fully happy again as he was when he was married, but he still had a life where he got to raise those kids and keep them safe. So he did the man's duty thing. Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess I'm going to turn it around on you. Jimbo, how do you feel about this film overall?
Loved it.
You love it?
I like the score. I like the characters. You actually feel for Clint Eastwood's character, Money. I think it's very well written. And you know me, I don't like Westerns. There's only a select few I do like. I think the story is enriching enough that, you think that the bad guy is this. I'm thinking to myself while I'm watching this movie, okay, they're making this big deal and this bounty on this guy that cut up a lady's face.
Yeah.
But you have the sheriff who's 100 times worse than this guy that's running this town. And you're like, is this guy going to get his, you know what I mean? And then if he wouldn't have killed Ned, I don't know if
he would never came back. He would have left, took the bounty, and been fine.
Exactly.
He wouldn't care at all.
Exactly.
And even then, like, William Money is not a good person in many respects, too. And same thing with, like, or like the punishment they use on the perpetrators. There's the one younger person guy.
Yeah.
Like the one who gets shot in the stomach and basically left for dead and, like, asking for water as he's begging and pleading for his life. He has a much more painful, awful death than the actual perpetrator who actually cut up that lady. The guy who was
the guy that crawled away was one of the ones that he's his partner,
accomplice,
right?
Yeah, he was the one at the beginning of the film who held her back when he started cutting her, and then as soon as he actually realized he was really starting to cut her, he tried to stop her and everything like that too.
Which I didn't understand, because he brought that really nice horse to give to that lady too.
He did too.
He was trying to make recompense
in some form of his mind too. So yeah, so like he didn't redeem himself to any degree. He didn't. He was complicit in a crime that he committed. He was still friends with that person afterwards, who was an absolute terrible person. That lady.
But what I'm saying is, you can't say that he's the one that did it, because he didn't.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he's still an accomplice there. He was still there. He did hold her back for a moment and actually let him get one of the cuts in on her face before he tried to stop the situation. And then the guy still kept getting to cut her before he didn't like tackle him, try and stop him, and all that kind of thing too. But he was in a wrong place, wrong time, and still was complicit afterwards and like letting that happen, even if he did try to make some kind of recompense later.
But what I'm saying is, them two still weren't hanging out together though, right?
They were still together to some degree. Because they were still part of the same crew at the end of the day.
Were they? I thought they were on two separate.
No, they were still in the same general area, herding. They were doing a delivery of cow herds, basically like that, in the film. So they were still, at the very least, they still had to work together. They had to like deal with each other. I don't think they even like necessarily were friends in the film, even, but they were still like they were part of that crime. They were together in it. And, the sheriff didn't do anything punishment to him. And the person who did do the biggest part of the crime, cutting up that lady like that, he got shot in the bathroom. He was dead almost immediately, too. So, like, he had, like, probably the least amount of punishment of the criminals of this film that we kind of describe as. Gosh, where were we going to there?
Well, I'm going back to mine since you just commandeered the podcast. You told me to go first.
I'm gonna do it again to you, too. Don't worry.
I know you are. So, for me, you got to remember, I'm not a Western fan. I'm not even really a big Clint Eastwood fan, if I'm totally honest.
That's fair.
I like Gene Hackman. But for me, in this movie, I'm going to shock myself here. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I think the story was well done. The acting was well done. The cinematography was done. The musical score keeps you in and then you just, the Schofield kid, you hate him. And I don't know why, they just drug him along. You feel for Clint Eastwood. You feel for his kid. These kids have no mother. They're out there trying to separate these hogs because some of them fell sick. And Eastwood knows he has to do something to support his family to keep them going in the way they need to go. Morgan Freeman did an outstanding job in this film. You feel for him when he's getting beat by Hackman. Remember when he says, I'm going to call them these whores, and, their lies, if they don't match your lies, he's like, it's going to be a lot worse on you and I haven't even done bad stuff to you yet.
Yeah.
But I like how Morgan Freeman wasn't giving in any information. You could tell, like Gene Hackman, after he's lipping him, he says that he's sweating, dude. Like he's been beating on him a while. And he's like, well, how come, this name and this name, you said this name and this name? He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, the guy said they're writing this stuff down as he's saying it, so it's true. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Outstanding film. If nobody has seen this film, they probably should check it out.
Yeah.
Kyle?
There's some more things I can mention as well. I feel like this film is anti-alcohol consumption. I think alcohol plays a really strong role in this film. And it's kind of unsaid. It wasn't until I watched there was a YouTube video from The Take that if I remember to share it, I'll share it on YouTube. I'll share it on the Facebook group if I remember to share it. But talking about the role alcohol plays in this film. And it wasn't until after William Money, Clint Eastwood's character, marries his wife that he puts on the drink. And it's clear that after he puts on the drink that he is terrified of the person he was back then, truly. He's terrified he could possibly ever go back to him, that person he was back then. And he constantly goes through, every time he talks to Ned Logan, Morgan Freeman's character, he says, I'm not that person anymore. And he's clearly having nightmares about the people he killed unjustly and how they didn't deserve to die and all those kind of things like that. He's clearly haunted by the things that he did. And similar to Ned Logan, too, he's also haunted by the things that he did and refuses to kill anymore because he knows how awful it was, the things he did. And he's trying to do the right thing there, where he's trying to, I feel like he's trying to be nicer and more tolerant of the Schofield kid than he really needs to be necessarily, because Schofield is just a young brat in many cases. Like, I understand you say you hate him, in the film, too, and I kind of dislike him, too, because it's just like, he's a young, insecure kid trying to prove himself in a Western, and it's like, just shut up.
And I think, since you brought that up, I think it's very interesting that after they're waiting to get paid, you got Clint Eastwood and Mooney, and you got the Schofield kid under that tree, and that lady comes out, and he's like, look, we'll divide this money up, count this, well, I'll take Ned his part. She's like, Ned, no, Ned won't take Ned, he's dead. And he's like, he's not dead, he rode south. No, he's dead. And the Schofield kid's over there drinking because he's the guilt of him killing somebody, and then you see Clint Eastwood take the bottle, start drinking.
And then that's the character switch right there.
And
that's
he doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You even see him walking into town. You see the bottle he throws on the ground. So the old man is back to what he was.
Once he broke his sobriety, that allows him to be the evil man he's always been. And then he proceeds to be, a devil, basically. I mean, he's a demon in many respects, the way he killed everyone in that room. And then when the writer goes on and questions about everything like that, too, he completely dismisses the kind of the legend that the writer's trying to write about him, and it's like, no, I just get lucky in these gunfights. I don't know why I win these gunfights. I'm no hero. And then it's like, but how'd you know who to kill first? Like, all I know is who get killed last.
Yeah.
He puts the rifle at him like, get out of my face, you idiots, in a really amazing way. And I think the film is very much like talking about it's an anti-alcohol film. It's about the bane of alcohol, and alcohol is what is an enabling factor for men to do terrible things. In this film's eye, especially, and I find that's very interesting. And it's also just like how it shows how Clint Eastwood is so ashamed of what he's probably doing there when he goes to kill those people. Like, he wants to commit justice, but even then, like, he still goes home and goes back just to his dry goods. Like, he wants to be that smaller man in his eye. He wants to be the guy who gets dry goods and manages to take care of his kids. He wants to be that person. I think that's amazing and stuff. But going back to like my overall capture of the film, which I should have done in the first place, this film I agree to. This is a 9 out of 10 film, easily in my book. The only reason I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I feel like I'm going to do some mid-server to a film I gave a 9 out of 10 earlier that I really loved. Like, could have been like Titanic, or like a movie that I love personally. I could have given 10 out of 10. So I only feel uncomfortable saying giving 10 out of 10 for that reason alone. This movie is a strong 9 out of 10. Dang near perfect film in every single respect, and I absolutely love it to death. It's incredible work, incredible writing, incredible acting, and directing, everything else too. There's reason it swept all these awards because it absolutely deserved it in every scenario too. So this film is shocking in many ways, and I love it to death, and I recommend anyone wholeheartedly watch it if you're an adult, especially, don't watch it if you're a kid. Obviously, there's a lot of adult things going on here, but this film is dang near perfect, well worth seeing for anyone, even if you're not a Western fan. So that's my overall thoughts on the film.
So there you have it. That is Tombstone. Kyle, next week, buckle up. We have a movie that I had never seen before once again, even though it's long-lived in the horror genre. And I don't know if Kyle's ever seen it, but I have watched it already, so be prepared. We will be covering Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby.
It's another Roman Polanski film. You know how we feel about him.
Yeah.
But I watched it the other night, and Kyle hasn't watched it yet, so I don't want to say too much right now. But stay tuned for the next week when we do Rosemary's Baby.
I'm excited and worried.
You should be. All right. So, with that being said, I think this episode is coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.